Peace and Black Power, people. I'm on the ground for a reason. Getting ready to hit the abs, the abdominals. Oh my goodness. It's the area both men and women struggle the most with, especially, as our years progress. But, Welcome to an upload of Steel Talk and Iron Responses. But, even younger and younger, depending upon your nutritional intake and your caloric expenditure. It's a basic, if you're taking in more than you burning, the body has to put it somewhere. And it's if you owned a warehouse. In that warehouse, 100 boxes came in, 20 went out. 100 came in, 20 went out. 100, and that went on for about a year. How long it's going to take before you can barely walk through the warehouse because you got to squeeze through because you got so many boxes? You got to put that stuff somewhere. So the body tries to put it in the least active area of the body. If you're following some of the other shows, I explained that you're going to walk, you're going to open stuff, but if you ain't laughing, coughing, sneezing, there's no natural contraction that goes on throughout the day. I mean, your core does kind of align and balance you, but that's not done anywhere near the levels of activity that would naturally keep it toned. And some, just by basic walking, will keep a certain level of tone to their legs. Others may, even though they're at a desk or they're engaged topically, so even their arms are getting enough activity. But a dormant abdominal, that is like, I'm going to vacation. So it starts to accumulate. And if you don't change those habits of taking in more than you're giving out, it gets bigger and bigger. How do you reverse it? Start taking in less and burning what you already have. Basic formula, you reverse it. And aerobic activity is the best to start that overall process. The ab exercises I'm giving you is to reverse that inactivity process. So, because the body doesn't spot reduce, so I don't want to give that impression. But with a good cardio program, and as your weight is dropping in all its necessary areas, the contraction and movement in the activity will help reveal a tone and I won't say sculpted, but whatever degree, it might be sculpted, depending. But every ab ain't got to be sculpted, but definitely smaller and more firm. That's what you want. You don't want your core to be weak. A lot of times, a weak core contributes to lower back pain. A weak core, especially, you're a parent with young children where you're lifting, anything that you're doing, unfortunately, here in New York, you see a lot of women sometimes with carriages. I'll help my share down and up. But if there isn't someone around, these women got to carry a carriage, often, 20, 30-pound child. So if your core is weak, if you haven't done some kind of, you can get, the body will help and do, and then bang. That lumbar is only going to take but so much. Then you're talking slip disc, or you're talking other things that lead into now not even able to do the basic stuff. So again, keeping your abs and your core tight. Once upon a time, sit-ups was thought to be the best thing on the planet, and everybody was trying to do them. The range of coming all the way up for a sit-up, having benefits for the abdominals, but it canceled out its benefit because of the amount of stress it put on the lower back. Now these were sit-ups. 1, 2, 3. So you don't got to do them, especially if you still want to effectively tone the abs. All you have to do, and now let's go, I'm going to have you come over this end, just to see the angle of the body. I always suggest the hands in front, because often people don't realize, even doing crunches, after the abs start to fatigue, people start pulling on the head without realizing it, because now it's supplementary, like as if the head is going to lift them better. So the key to doing this without that, if the muscle fatigues, it fatigues. You're not stressing your neck. So now look at the range of a crunch. You start with your shoulders flush against the mat. This is full rest position. To get in the starting position for the crunch is here. And it's a pulsation from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see, it's not a big movement, but that rocking motion upward forces all of the muscles along the abdominal to fire. And now when I come back, I don't go all the way back to rest. I come back slightly enough to take the heightened tension off, but there's still tension. Then I'm contracting again. So release a little attention, contract, release. So it's a rocking, but it's very intense. The average person doing crunches like this, if they haven't done any, they might not be able to make it to 20. But as that core gets stronger, that short rocking, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the other good thing about this, if you do them, the knees are up, so it puts the lumbar region flush against the back. Whereas with the sit-ups, when you're all the way up, there's the unprotected portion right at the lower lumbar. So now the cushion is there, it's all protected, and the pulsation is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once you reach your desired count, then you rest. Shoulders down. And I don't think I've said this enough, the breathing should always be in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose. The nose filters the air of dust, particles. You don't want unfiltered air to go directly to your lungs. So, and then out. I would say no more than 10 seconds. You don't want a long rest. One, you're raising your heart rate. You want to, even if you can, depending upon this being a part of another routine, get it to that aerobic level, because that's where the body burns fat most. So 10 seconds, back in position. Remember, this is full rest. Starting position is here. You're up. The bottom level of the tension, that's what you start with. And that's what you stay in at minimally until you finish the set. I'm at minimum tension, and now I'm starting. Max, minimum, max, minimum, max, minimum. And that's what an effective crunch does. And the good thing I like about it, you get all of that power without all the way up and all the way down of a sit-up. Quite naturally, that's the front. There's an external oblique that runs alongside the waistline. That one, the visual I give is like a fish out of water. The ankles are crossed, and the movement is 2, 3, 4. You visualize as if you're trying to touch your ankles with this elbow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is one of the excellent ways to trim the side of the waist. Because remember, it becomes like a belt of fat. Because over here is dormant as well. What you do on one side, you have to do on the other. Still crossing, ankles, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4. This one might be tricky at first. It's a rhythm. Some people have to find where the balance is, but you add this in, over the weeks and months, you're going to see all of this start to melt. With the cardio, with the nutritional changes, with getting enough rest. Remember, it's all a picture. I'm not going to sell you any one thing. This will do it. All of that together will help it happen, but this, as far as your physical exercise portion, is a good thing to have. So we've taken care of the front, we've taken care of both sides. I'm going to give you a great exercise for the lower abdominal. So many women is like, oh man, I got this little area, I just can't lose it. I'm doing everything, I can't lose it. Now, first of all, again, find out about your goals. The body is doing what it's supposed to when it has an additional layer of fat in that lower region. That is where your reproductive organs are. And the body, the female body, knows at certain points, if it gets cold, it wants to have a layer of fat as insulation to warm, and fat can be cooling if it gets hot. So let's not have a goal that is so counteractive to what the body is naturally trying to do. Now, with that said, you can still have more there than you need. You're going to have a whole bunch. So I'm not saying some of us can work to trim it, but don't think it has to be this bored thing, because then you could be running the risk of not even maintaining certain other hormonal levels. There are some athletes on record. There's some women who've dropped their fat percentage so low that it affects their menstrual cycles. So athletics is great, physical performance is great, but also, like I said in the very first show, we are people of the earth. We are people of nature. You don't want to work against nature. You don't want to eat against nature. All the things you do in line as a natural, God-gifted people, we come back to that, it's game over. Most of the things that we're struggling to get and achieve and have will just begin to manifest. So this is for the lower ab. This time the hands are flat, arms are straight, and try to keep your arms as close to the body as you can. You don't want them to be under. It gives you an unfair advantage. But have it close. The ankles are crossed. The visualization, if you're in your house while you're doing this, think the foot that's up, you're trying to put a footprint up on the ceiling. Because you want to go 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a short hop. And that short hop makes this lower ab fire every time. 1, 2, that pulsation. The difficult part is keeping the legs in this position. Because even to do this has that muscle making your core work. All of this works it, but the movement upward is the last firing that really, in a very effective way, stimulates that lower abdominal region. So if you have problems in that area, make this one a part of your routine. One of the other ones, this is old school, most of you all probably know, and this one is an elbow to knee touch. And if you noticed, whenever you want to work the lower ab, the legs have to be involved. You got to recruit them because that base, any movement stimulates it, whether it's going up towards the ceiling, whether the legs are going out, whether it's crossing ankles. To hit the lower abs, the legs have to be in some way involved. So again, bicycles, elbow to knee. I have most people start with both knees up, and it's simply 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now the things to keep in mind, if you can, make contact with the opposite knee. If you can't reach it, get as close to it as you can. Because even though lower ab, the reaching with the elbow, you can recruit some of the upper. So this one is really giving you both. And it's transverse. They're going across the body. So this is what it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The other thing, when you extend it, try to get a good reach. I see some people do this, they keep it short, like this. And you're getting some benefit, but the real benefit, again, when you let those legs extend. Because as they extend and you have to keep it up, that's your lower ab. Like I said from the beginning, you're trying to reverse that dormant inactivity with activity. But the activity has to be able to reach the areas that are necessary. So you always chime in with some good stuff, knowledge of God. So what did you think about the ab routine?
I thought it was good. And so basically what I learned most is sit-ups aren't really what we should be doing.
No.
That's what I learned.
Yeah. I think most folks know that. It's been a while, since I've seen a sit-up done in the gym.
Okay.
But if you ain't worked out in a minute, you haven't been watching fitness shows, no sit-ups, but crunches will give you everything you need if you do them the way I just demonstrated. I guarantee you. There's much more abs, but I don't want to overwhelm folks. I want folks to see something that they can tap in, maybe review this, see this a few times if you missed a few key points. Have the mind accept it before you just start making the body do it. Because the body will do anything for a short period of time, but if your internal conversation starts to bum rush you again, and you're tired and you're hurting and you'd rather do something else and you don't want to exercise, and those thoughts prevail, you're going to have another unsuccessful attempt. And we don't want that. We want you to take this knowledge and begin to put those blocks in place that will lead you to feeling better, looking better, and being at your best health. So that's what these points and this information is for. So, all right, if you don't have any, we're going to close this out because we got martial arts, and I think that's the last one.
Yeah, martial arts is the last.
All right, martial arts is the last, folks. So stay tuned. They got to tune in to something else.
Yeah.
Tune into the next show. This is your brother Herman Smalls and Knowledge of God. Kia Life Productions. Hip Hop is real. Thank you for your viewership. Peace. And Black Power, folks. All right, this is probably the final installment for the fitness segment that we're doing. And this is late September, and the weather is just bananas. So we're gonna milk it, squeeze every drop out, and we did another outside shoot. My background primarily is Western boxing. I did about 10 years in the Golden Gloves. I dabbled in a whole bunch of martial arts, borrowing from Wing Chun, and I'm kind of, in mixed martial arts.
All my wrists is frogs. All my